This. I'm calling it Typing the Ninja Turtles, or TMNT through the lens of MBTI. We've already done Michelangelo and Donatello yesterday, the first two turtles. We called him an INTJ. It's pretty obvious he does machines. Only difference is INTJ or ENTJ. And with Michelangelo, we got him as an SF. And we put him down as an ESFP. What is the difference between an EP and an IJ? If you have J in the back, NT, intuitive thinker, is what most people in society we usually call introvert. It is not true to say, it's not actually okay to say that all NTs are introverted, because the ENTPs are just annoying as hell. And SFs are usually very extroverted, but it all depends on your observer function, your decider function, which one is first. So in the case of Donnie, having a J at the back makes his observer, his intuition, introverted, and his decider, his thinking, extroverted, which means he actually gets stuff done. The opposite of which, NETI, which is what the ENTP is, which is what I am, is very useless to have in a way. Like, those people will accomplish something somewhere down the way, but they don't give immediate results, and they tend to piss people off a lot. But yeah, so with Mikey, you got a P at the end, and that's different because that makes his observer extroverted. He's got extroverted sensing, which means, his hands are very, all over the place. He wants to hold stuff, he wants to touch stuff. He gets distracted by a lot of sensory input, and he's got feelings inside. He's got really tender feelings inside. He loves the things he loves. He loves food. He loves people. He loves Christmas. All those things, values and everything. So these two, I still need a lot of help with this. I don't understand this all the way. But I think also the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are technically supposed to be teenagers, except we're going to go beyond the teenagers into the... Remember the 2007 movie where Splinter was dead and the Turtles had moved on? They were living adult lives, doing jobs and stuff. And that's where we first see Donnie doing tech support, and Michelangelo dressing up as a Halloween person for kids and entertaining people. So now... So these are our standard Myers-Briggs guys. Donatello and Michelangelo are NT and SF. Now we got Raph and Leo. These guys are obviously more complicated. Oh, also, I meant to tell you that, so these guys are supposed to be teenagers, and I don't believe that your personalities are really fixed until after the teenagers. You got to have those formative, I think they call it. So you got to pass through a certain stage of life to get fixed personalities. But yeah, I think Michelangelo's stayed pretty consistent throughout the whole story. He doesn't change much, whether he's a kid or whether he's, he doesn't really mature. That's why we love him. Donatello, on the other hand, was always mature, even as a kid. I'm pretty sure even as a toddler, he must have been Alright, so now we got Raph and Leo. What do we know about Raph? I'm going to do Raph first and then Leo. What do we know about Raph, Mr. Rude but... Cool but rude. Yeah, Mr. Cool but rude. So he's does machines. Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines. Raphael is cool but rude. And obviously Michelangelo is a party animal. Well, Raphael is complicated in such a way that, alright, so he He's angry. Raph's got rage. Everybody who knows Raph knows that Raph has rage, and but he also loves people. Like, he loves his family. He would do anything for his family, and there's a version of the Ninja Turtles out there somewhere where instead of Leonardo, Raphael is the leader. I think Raphael was in some way suited to be leader more than Leonardo, because in the 2003 cartoon especially, he's always criticizing Leo on every move. Raph thinks he could do a better job, and in fact, he leads the Foot Clan in the Urban Legends storyline for a brief period, I think. And in the 2012 series, he's voiced by Sean Astin, and I think, all right, so the 1987 cartoon, it's crap beyond the intro. Beyond the intro, I love the cartoon, but it's not that good. 2003 was really close to the Image version of the comics. 2012 had Eastman involved in it, and both of these stories, 2003 and 2012, they did touch on City at War, and I think 2012 might have done a better job. I have no idea about Rice. We're not talking about Rice. And the 2007 movie with the immortal dude, that was... All right, so what do we know about Raph? One thing we know is, like, he gets angry quite often. In the movie, in 1990, when the first movie came out, Raph got beaten up and he ended up in a bathtub because he walked out on the roof on his own. The reason this happened was because they were all cramped up in April's apartment, and he was mad that Splinter got kidnapped and Leo wasn't doing anything about it. So one thing he really, really cared about his master, and I think he's got introverted feeling, but not on top, somewhere down. Maybe that's why. But all right, so Raph and Leo, in their spare time, Don and Michelangelo are doing things. Don is fixing stuff up. He's either upgrading the lair or he's fixing some circuits, the TVs, whatever he needs to be fixed. Michelangelo is cooking stuff or playing video games, doing something. Raph and Leo, given spare time, would spend a lot of time on their own. Leo would meditate, and Raph, similar to that, would probably, punch his punching bag. He would spar. So when he's not out there kicking butt, he's inside kicking butt. He just can't stop that. That's probably because Raph has a lot of introverted thinking, the bad kind of thinking. So when he goes out strolling on his own, twice in the first movie, we see Raphael going out on his own. In fact, he runs into Casey Jones because he has a habit of... So he's part of the team, he's part of the brothers, and he'll be there when the brothers need him, but he also needs his alone time. He's got a lot in his mind, I guess. I would say Raph is an introverted thinker. I'm gonna call him an ST because he also loves his toys. First thing we need to know about Raphael is he gets angry, he gets emotional, he likes to go out on his own. The other thing you need to know about Raph is he loves his bike, not just his bike. Even in when Donnie builds the van, Raphael gets the turrets, the guns. He loves shooting things. He loves his toys. Like I said, the weapon that he gets now, Michelangelo's weapon kind of represents his personality in that. Michelangelo's weapon is always, to use a nunchuck, it's never still, it's always moving. Motion is really important when you use a nunchuck. A bow stick is fairly stable and it's very versatile. Leonardo's katana needs a lot of mastery and discipline and concentration. Raphael's just stab, stab, stab. You know what I mean? Well, he's also disarm. Sean Astin's version in 2012, the Nickelodeon Raph, was his fighting style was upgraded to such a beautiful thing. But he's also the Night Watchman, which gives him... Yeah, so I think the definitive Raph is Night Watchman because he goes out on his own, he beats people up, and that's the three things he loves to do. And rides his bike, and he enjoys his toys. So I'm going to say that Raphael is an ISTP. Why is it an I? Well, ST is a sensory thinker. It's non-standard. That's there, which, you know, when we get to Leo, it'll make a little more sense as well. They hate each other, right? Raph's definitely got a lot of introverted thinking going on, and that's one of his bad traits. Like, you know, it's a bother to him, and when he's when he's fighting, when he's doing stuff, he'll be all mad and he'll get the thoughts out of his head for a second, but, you know, those thoughts keep coming back. But he's not intuitive. He's very much in the real world, and he cares about his people and everything. So that's SE, I would say. You got TI and SE. The only difference, the only thing that's up to debate in that classification is whether TI is in front, whether he uses the TI for SE or whether he uses his SE for TI. I'm going to put him in as an ISTP. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have the qualifications. So I would really want the help of to like cement this. I would want to get some advice from some people. But I'm pretty sure when it comes to Don, he's an INTJ. When it comes to Mikey, he seems like an ESFP. And Raphael is an ISTP in my point of view. Now we get to Leo. Leo is very, very, so peer pressure. Oroku Saki from 2003 says, Leonardo, I beg you, please, no. Don't be afraid to say no to to a bad guy, and never take candy or mystic swords from, so that's a meme that I made a long time ago. If you've watched this show, sorry about the reflections on the screen. So yeah, Leo, like I said, in the 2007 movie, when, Donnie's doing tech support to support his family, and Raphael's doing his kick butt stuff very secretly because he likes to think that he's cool and everything. And Mikey's, helping kids out on the street, being a people person. Leo's missing. Leo's straight up in Brazil. You would think that Raph is the proper loner, but the 2003 cartoon, it switched it up so that, Leo was the loner hanging out on rooftops, getting beaten by the foot, falling into April's apartment, and it's because of Leo that they need to go to Casey's place uptown. So there's some debate as to which one is more of a loner, Raph or Leo. Leo is the leader. That is something we know, and his weapons reflect his discipline and he's the favorite son of both the masters. Splinter and Shredder want to fight for him. Although, Shredder actually ends up getting Raphael in the Urban Legends thing. It makes sense that Raph would be the next Shredder, in my point of view. But both of them have joined the Foot, and I think led them as well in a kind of Daredevil. What was Daredevil's story? Shadowland? Yeah. Shadowland, I think, is basically a ripoff of TMNT. Anyways, so City at War. That was what I was going to say. Shadowland is basically a ripoff of City at War. We did it first. The Ninja Turtles did it first. I don't know. All right, so INFJ. I'm gonna say that Leo is intuitive. He's very good at meditating, but unlike Donatello, who is also an intuitive, and this is something that we see as well, Donatello and Leonardo get along better than with the other guys, and Raph and Mikey, they might fight, they might hate each other on the surface, but they actually love each other too. And interesting thing about INFJs and IEPs is that INFJs have FE in front, but they also have TI, just not in front. They don't respect what is not in front. So inferior functions, you don't tend to like those. So the personal, like, Leo and Raph not getting along, that shows that Raph is a TI lead and Leo has TI on the very bottom. Leo is an FE lead, Raph is an FE bottom. So they hate each other because they both can do what the other can't do very well. You know what I mean? Like, Leo's gonna be like, Raph, why are you always thinking? Empty your thoughts. Also, being a really good ninja, I would say, like, when he gets into battle, they have two styles of fighting. Raphael uses his emotion, uses his rage to punch people up, and he's all punch. But in the heat of battle, Leo remains to stay cool and calm and strategic, and that's why he's always winning against Raph. And he lets his instinct take over. He lets go of all his thoughts, and he lets his body just move on its own, sort of, in reaction to his opponent. And I think that is FE. I don't know for sure, but, the martial arts going with instinct thing is probably FE. All right, so next we're going to do Splinter and the Shredder, who I think has a split personality. It's going to be fun. So join in later, and sorry about the reflections on the screen. It was supposed to be like, it's just supposed to be my voice and the video. I couldn't get it to work. So yeah, part 2 is done. Part 3 next.